In this video today, I'm going to be talking about 5 things to look for when fishing for summer bass. So let's get into it. We're going to go troll around and we're going to actually show you guys where to look for, what to look for when summertime bass fishing. Come with us. So my first tip would be go to a cove, and I like to fish coves because there's obviously most of the time a bunch of fish in the coves up in the shallows. So that's my first tip, going coves. So find a cove like this, somewhere around. Nice big cove, as you can see there's some structure. Shallow, got some rock, trees, lay down structures. So my first tip would be go in a cove. Second tip would be when you go in a cove, you want to look for shad. You want to look for shad flickering. You'll see them, they'll come up and jump around. So what that means is there's actually big groups of baby shads about that big, and they're schooled up, and the bass are schooled up, and they're looking to destroy these summertime bass or summertime shad. So you want to look in coves, and if you don't see any shad, maybe fish in it for about 15 minutes, no bites, move on, go to your different cove. So look for shad, look for a cove. Second or third tip would be you want to go in these coves, you want to look for like rocks. If it's just like pure mud at the bottom, it's not the best. You can still catch fish like that, but you want to look for like rocks, lay down trees. As you can see right where I cast, there's rocks. That's really good. And there's a bunch of rocks, a bunch of debris. So you want to fish the coves for about 15 minutes. If you have no bites, just move on, go to a different cove. If you're limited on coves, maybe just stay in one for a while and see how that works out. If you have no bites, just keep on moving. But you could see there's structures. You could see where fish could be hanging out right here. But it's pretty shallow over here. It's really clear water where we're at. I think the water temp's about 80. I don't have a live scope right now, but I would assume about 80 because I just jumped in it. So it's probably about 80. It cools down as you get deeper. But I'm using about 7.5 foot crankbait, a little bit deeper. Kind of a smaller profile though. And I actually make the crankbaits. Most of the ones I use, I'm making. This one I'm not. Actually got it from another dude that makes crankbaits. But I make my own crankbaits, link in the description. Make crankbaits, top waters. So if you want to check that out, feel free to. But you can see I'm casting in this structure stuff. Like in this, you might want to use like a jig or even like a swim jig, because you cast it up in there. You can flip it up in here in the structure. And it's kind of a quicker moving bait, a swim jig. Unlike a jig, you kind of have to let it sink to the bottom, reel. It's another good bait you want to be using. So was that tip 3? We're going to 5. So another thing I like to do is I like to see coves, and they need to have, they don't need to, but it's nice when you see coves with actually like structure and like trees sticking out of the water, dead trees. And when I see something like that, I would like to use most of the time crankbait, jig, maybe a big Texas rig worm. Work it slow. But if you're fishing like fast, a tournament, you kind of want to be moving, finding fish all the time. So crankbait, fast moving baits. So find a cove, find shad find bait, because that's where bass are going to be. I think he said it's like McDonald's, like shad are like McDonald's. Like if it's like a desert, there's no food, they don't want to be there. They're going to move somewhere else, and they're just not going to be there. Every once in a while, we might find a bass, but you want to find coves that have shad that are flickering. You want to find bait, and you want to imitate their bait. Meaning, like, if you're seeing shad, don't be like throwing like a big 10-inch worm. Throw something just simple like a white crankbait, because shad most of the time they're white. So something smaller profile when you find the actual shad. So the last tip is when you go in your coves or just in general, you want to find like birds. Like you'll find seagulls, they'll be up on the banks. You'll find cranes, and they're actually just eating the bluegills and smaller fish. So that's an indication that there's bait fish around. So it's kind of a common theme. You want to find the bait, because where there's bait, there's bigger bass. And so you want to find bait. So always be looking for stuff like that when you're just at a new lake. See, like crane right there, but make sure they're like somewhere stopped. So always be looking for stuff at new lakes, because you want to be looking for shad flickering. You want to be looking for structure. So that's 5 tips for the day. Something real quick, but something you want to keep in mind for sure, especially tournaments or just fishing in general. But that's my 5 tips, but they're really solid. Go put them to use. I hope you got something out of this video that you're able to take out of this video and implement to your fishing. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye for now.